I am a mother, and very few things in life are as exciting as carrying a child, a baby in your womb, and all of a sudden the baby gives you a kick. Now, that your baby gives you a kick in the womb does not mean that the baby plays football in the womb. You see, in the womb, there are no football fields, there are no television, and obviously there are no video games. So when a baby is born into this world, that child comes not as a football fan, not addicted to video games, and obviously not addicted to cartoons. Now, much of what happens or what the child becomes is a product of the environment in which he is raised. Please stay with me. Hi, I'm Gozie Okure. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this channel, we discuss books and reading and how to leverage reading for success in life. Please subscribe to my channel. And if you are my new subscriber, thank you so much. I appreciate you a lot. In today's video, we'll be discussing a straight talk to mothers on reading. Yes, it was Emily Bochard that said that children are made readers in the laps of their parents. Now, if we want to remove fathers from this, we can now go back to what Dr. Mike Murdoch said, that the quality of a generation is determined by the quality of the mothers in it. Now, if that is the case, that the quality of a generation is determined by the quality of the mothers in it, then we can say that mothers in the 21st century have done a lot of things beautifully. But when it comes to reading, they still need to do a lot more. Now, having been involved with books for decades, I'm a prolific author of over 30 books. Now, having been involved in the writing and selling of books, I can say for sure that the reading culture needs to be stepped up. And much of this falls on the laps of the mothers. So I want you to join me now as we discuss a few tips that mothers can take up and enhance the reading culture of their children. Now, the very first thing I want to say when it comes to giving children a reading culture is that it starts with you, the mother. It starts with you, the parents, right? Mothers especially. You see, children do what they see us do. We model what our children do. So if you want to raise children who will read, children need to see you read. That is why every mother is supposed to read. Don't even begin to give the excuse that you're very busy. Everybody is busy. It is said that successful people read books. Yes, it is said that readers are leaders and leaders are readers. And as a mother, there could be no greater leader anywhere. Mothers are the hands that rock the cradle. You are the ones that shape the worldview, the belief system, and everything. The greatness of your child rests most times on your laps. So you must read. Make up your mind to begin to read. And it's a very simple thing to do. All you need to do if you want to read is to create a reading routine. If you can invest just 10 minutes, between 10 and 15 minutes of reading something inspiring, something educational every day, you will discover that you will be a value-driven mother. You will be so valuable. And this is so important because when your children come, it is what you know that you teach your children. Remember when we go for antenatal, as mothers, when we carry our children in the womb and we go for antenatal clinics, what do they usually tell us? They will tell us that we should eat for two. They will say that your children or your baby will derive his nutrients from you. That's exactly how it is also when we give birth to our children. What you know is what you will put into your child. So if you're a person of value, a person of knowledge, you will raise knowledgeable children. But if you're vain, you don't read anything, you just sit down and watch home videos, you won't have value to put into your children. And may never be said of you that you're raising a child in the 21st century and you're not imputing knowledge into that child. Why? Because the keys of the 21st century are the keys of knowledge and skill. So when you raise children who are not knowledgeable in this 21st century, you have not equipped those children to become stars. You've not equipped them to become eagles that we saw. Most mothers raise their children to be like chickens that will scratch the beam for worms, but that shouldn't be you. So make up your mind to begin to read, okay? Having said that, the next thing you need to do is to read for your babies. Yes, when children are still very young, make up your mind to read for them. We have different types of bedtime stories. Get some. They are everywhere in bookstores. Get some very beautiful bedtime stories. I'm not sure it's part of our culture in this side of the world, but I mean, culture is dynamic, okay? We can always borrow effective and dynamic culture. So get yourself some beautiful bedtime stories and read for your baby. Now, there are a couple of things that happens when you read for a child. The very first thing is that you bond. You carry that child and you're reading for him or her. Yes, you are bonding with that child and you're communicating a lot of things to that new child. You're communicating to that child that books are important. You're communicating to that child that that reading is important. Beyond that, you know what you're doing. Now, because children love stories and you're telling this child, reading stories for him, you are establishing a fun-based association with books for that child. That child is developing an association, a fun-based association with that child. And this is so key. This is so very important in laying the foundation for that child becoming a reader later in life. A lot of children who dislike reading have a fear-based association, or some have a pain-based association with books, and this shouldn't be your child. So if you want your child to have a fun-based association with reading, you try and start reading for that child. You read bedtime stories for that child. Closely related to this point is the fact that you should, if you want to get your children to be bookworms, you want to, introduce book culture to your children, you have to introduce them to board books. What are board books? Board books are books that are meant for babies. It is the very first step, the very first type of books that are introduced to babies. It's usually laminated. They're usually very colorful, usually shaped uniquely. They come with features that can either sing or talk or open up like flowers. They are very beautiful and uniquely created for very young babies, okay? So that time that your baby starts to sit down, starts to crawl, that child, among the toys that surround your child should be board books, okay? So that child from beginning is familiar with books, okay? This is so important because with time, as that child grows, books will not be new, will not be anything new to him, and the concept of reading will not be a difficult one for him. Now, having said that, the next thing I want to share with you, dear mothers, is please shun the screen. When a baby is given to you, that baby doesn't know anywhere else in this world, doesn't know anything, right? Remember what I said, in the womb, where they came from, they were not playing football, they were not watching home videos, they were not playing with video games, right? So those things are put in their hands or in their faces by mothers. And mothers, I want to let you know the reasons why you should not open up the screen for your children, the reason why you should not introduce them to cartoons or video games early. You see, when I raised my children, I didn't allow anybody to watch home videos around them, and this is why. You see, in this life, it is negative news that sell, and these film producers are business people. They are in it to make business. So what they do is they look for the negatives happening in the society and they mirror it in their videos, right? That's why when you're watching those videos, you see a lot of illicit sexual relationship, you see consultations with mediums, you see a lot of crimes and all that, all those negatives. The mother who is watching is an adult, knows that those things are drama, but the new baby who is watching doesn't know that it is drama. And what mothers do not know is that between the ages of 0 to 7, the subconscious mind of the child is open and the child is absorbing everything happening around him into a mental blueprint. Now, it is with the blueprint that the child has absorbed in his subconscious mind that he will later begin to act out. That's why Sister Joyce Meyer will say, wherever the mind goes, the body follows. And this is why the hookup culture is on the rise, because mothers are exposing their children to all manner of things. Where are our children learning how to do hookup? Where are they learning how to do ritual mother? These things are the influence of media, influence of negative media that we expose them to when they are growing up. That is why a lot of fathers cannot understand why their daughters or wives who are well provided for still do hook up. Some of these things are mental strongholds that are there that the child will have to act out. Do you understand? So that's why it's so important that you don't expose the child to media. Okay, don't expose that child to negative medias. Don't expose that child to the screen. Now, another reason why it's so important that you don't expose your children to cartoons early in life is because, you see, the human mind does not have the capacity to retain a lot of passions at the same time. So when the passion, the interest of the child is captivated by cartoons, it's very difficult for that child to give his best in his academics. So I quite understand why a lot of mothers expose children to cartoons, why they put cartoons for them to watch, because of course when the children are toddlers, they have not developed the concept of danger. They don't know that people die. So what happens? They climb things, they enter into dangerous things, they do all manner of things. So when mothers want to engage them so that they can leave them alone to do their own stuff, they put on the cartoons for them. But mothers don't seem to know that man is a creature of habits, and whatsoever a man does consistently becomes habitual. So when they put on these cartoons for children consistently for a couple of weeks, the child gets addicted to it, and then you see mothers running helter-skelter looking for what to do. Yes, and when I hold webinars for mothers on how to give their children a reading culture, this is the complaint I receive mostly from many mothers. They will tell me, my child is addicted to cartoons, what do I do? My child is addicted to home videos, what do I do? The best thing to do is not to expose them to these things. Children will not die when you don't expose them to cartoons. They were not watching cartoons in the womb. Ensure that you don't expose this child to the screen. So what do you do instead? As a mother, expose your children to books. Yes, buy different types of books, okay? You see, there are different genres of books. You have books, you have comics, you have storybooks, you have illustrated Bible stories, you have nature-based stories, you have romantic novels, you have comics and all that. So just as there are different types of books, every child might prefer one type or the other. Okay, so if you want your children to read, don't force them to read school books. Rather, take them to the bookshop. Tell the bookshop attendant to give you what they have, to give you age-specific books. That means books that are relevant for their ages. Let the child pick the books he wants to read. When a child picks the kind of books he wants to read, nobody will push him to read. Nobody will shout on him to go and read, because he's picking the ones he loves, and then he will begin to read. Just the same way that you see there are some children who don't like to eat a particular type of food. They prefer to eat another type of food. That's how it is. There are children who might not want to read romantic novels, but they will read comics. There are others who want to read nature-based, books, right? So make sure that you get varieties of books for your children. And then the next thing you need to do is to make sure that you get other resources. There are things you can buy that can help your children to mold things. There are things you can buy, blocks that can help your children to build things. When you get to the bookshop and ask them what they have, you will be amazed the number of resources that they have that can help your children to be involved, okay? To be creative. And this is so important because when they are doing those things, you're watching them, you are noticing the places where their interests lie. It was recently I shared in one of my videos, Dr. Miles Monroe says that education is not the secret to success. He said the secret to success is following your gifts. It's your success lies in your gift. So early in life, when you surround the children with things which they can sketch, things with which they can build, things with which they can, design and mold, you will be able to see where their interest lies. You'll be able to discover their talents and their giftings early in life. Then when you mix their talents and their giftings with developing a reading culture, a love for reading, when a child develops a love for reading, he will be able to read anything. He will be able to read acquire any skill that he desires to become highly successful in life. Why? Because Obama, it was President Obama that said that reading is a gateway skill that makes every other learning possible. He says that reading opens the whole world. Say when a man can read, that the whole world opens up to him. That's exactly his story. Because he is a bookworm, according to his wife Michelle in her book Becoming, Michelle said that her husband is a bookworm. Could that be the reason why he became the very first African-American president? Remember, it is said that readers are leaders. So if you want your child to be a leader, I want you to make up your mind, okay? Don't be half-hearted about this. Go after it. Make sure that you provide that child books. Make sure you model reading for the child. Make sure you start early by putting books into the hands of the child. I ask parents, you see, the same way we carry our children to eateries so that they can eat pizza and eat meat pies, so also should be able to once in a while carry your children to the bookshop and let them walk around the bookshop. Let them dream. Yes, let them dream that one day my own books will be here, and then let them pick the kind of books they love to read. That way, you'll be able to raise champions. That way, you'll be able to raise eagles that will soar in the air instead of raising children who will be like chicken that will scratch the dustbin for worms. That shouldn't be your story. Thank you for being a part of this beautiful video. I want to believe that you got value. If you got value, please subscribe to my channel, and please partner with me in sharing the link of this video to every other mother. Let us revive the reading culture. God bless you.